Hey guys, and welcome to another Hypixel API tutorial video. In this video, we're going to be covering the challenges endpoint under resources. Now, for this specific video or specific tutorial, we're going to be using the synchronous template. If you haven't watched my previous video on how to do asynchronous calls, that template looks like this, but we are just going to be making one call, so we don't need that. And then because we're checking out an endpoint under resources, we actually don't need our API key, which is quite rare. But for under resources, those endpoints all do not require an API key because they don't get updated often enough to where I think Hypixel doesn't need to be rate limiting because it just doesn't get updated that often. And so that said, we've got our basic template. We've got our URL, which is just api.hypixel.net/resources. And then under that, there's another method, which is challenges. So I'm gonna show you guys briefly what this looks like in command prompts. If I open up my command prompt here, I can run the script and we get back this large roll of text that's like somewhat readable, somewhat not. So I'm gonna go more in depth on it within my Firefox or within my browser here. I use Firefox because it has automatic support for JSON formatting. If you want to use Chrome, there's Chrome extensions for this. There's also other browsers that support it. Usually they don't support it by default though, so check out extensions for those ones. I use Firefox as it has automatic support for JSON formatting. As always, we've got our success stat. So this is just going to tell us whether or not the status of the response is successful. So whether or not the rest of this data is actually going to be here. Always make sure this is true before trying to attempt anything else down here. Next up, we've got last updated. That's very important because that tells us when this response was last updated. So this is not something that's like cached or anything. This is just one hard-coded response that gets sent back and forth. And because of that, they don't update that frequently. In fact, this number is going to be as up to date as the last time this was updated, and the last time this was updated is the last time that any challenge was added or updated on Hypixel. Now, this is not very common, especially for challenges, sometimes for like achievements and stuff. If you're checking achievements under resources or something like that, I already have a video on that. You can go check it out. But those get updated a little more frequently, but challenges don't really get touched that often. We've got this challenges tab here. If we open it up, we've got all our games. And then if we open one of these up, let's say Arena for Arena Brawl. We've got all these tabs here. I'm going to shrink them just to go over them. So we've got 4 different tabs. That's because there's 4 different challenges in Arena Brawl. And then for each tab, if you open it up, we've got the ID. So this is the naming scheme that Hypixel uses on their API backend, which is horrible. It's horrible, it's inconsistent, but it is what it is. You get used to it, you know? And then we've got the name. So it's the name of the challenges that you'll see in game. So if you go in game and you talk to the challenge, like the quest person, and then you hover over the challenge, you'll have the name. So this is what's going to be displayed as the name for the challenge in game. So for this specific challenge, it's the where is it challenge. And then the last parameter here is just rewards. So this has 1 item here, sometimes more, but I've only ever seen it with 1. And we've got what it is, what the reward is, usually some integer. And then we've got the type of reward it is. So this supports like providing coins and stuff for challenges, but as far as I'm aware, there's only 2 types of rewards. There's multiplied experience rewards and there's experience rewards. So experience rewards are not multiplied by multipliers because multipliers are unavailable for them. They don't support them. So in this specific case, it's going to be 3,360 multiplied experience that you're going to get, which is just network level experience, right? And multiplied experience reward supports multipliers, but these are not very frequent because XP multipliers just aren't really a thing on Hypixel. You may have noticed some of this if you played back at the last, I think it was Quake and Vampire Z update. There was a multiplier, 5 times multiplier for all coins and XP over the course of like a week or something, or a weekend, I'm not sure, I forget. Anyways, there's a few days of that, and so that's why it's a multiply experience reward. It supports those events. For some things that are not challenges, you won't have experience reward. Multiply experience reward, you just have experience reward. Those are things that are always the same amount no matter the multiplier because they just don't support multipliers. There's never going to be a multiplier for those. And these all look very similar. Now we can go ahead and take a look at the documentation for this. As always, there's going to be very little documentation because it's under resources. Now this is on the official GitHub for Hypixel Dev under public API, documentation, methods, and this is for resources. They say that it does not require an API key, and they don't really change that often. And there's the last update field, and it explains what it is. And then we've got all the endpoints under that are supported for resources, which, it's here and there. And then there's an example request right here. Now, this is not that good. That's why I wanted to go over and explain a little more what these are. But you can go ahead and look into this if you want. That said, that's it for this video. So go ahead and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all my tutorial videos. Make sure you check out the playlist if you haven't already. If you're not currently looking at the playlist, I have a playlist of all my tutorial videos. You can go check that out. Like the video if you like the video, if you learned anything from the video. And then comment down below if you have any questions regarding anything. I'm always there to answer questions. I read all the comments, don't worry. You can check out my Discord in the description if you want to ask for help there, get a more immediate response. And then I've also got my Patreon now down there if you want to go ahead and support the channel to help buy things like a better mic and stuff like that. I see a lot of people complain about my current mic. I'm looking into trying to upgrade that right now. But yeah, so you can go ahead and check all that stuff out. It's been a blast, but that's been it for this Hypixel API tutorial video.